synthesizer and that sounds playing. And then at the end, you actually see those machines, and it makes sense to whole score. So that's how I do.
Bitch.
And so like it's super exciting to have all this new sound that nobody used that before, and you get inspired by that, and also you get inspired by the actors, which is another side of it. So I usually go speak with the actors, the lead actors, and they have their own story, their own biography that they make to play that character.
They do, yeah.
And sometimes even like the directors don't know that biography that they made for themselves. So it's cool to actually have the actors' point of view, because you're gonna write themes for those actors, for those characters. So you want to know exactly and super deep, like how they build that.
What an incredible art!
I mean, especially the keeping it fresh thing is so incredible to me.
Yeah,
being able to be original over and over and over. That's awesome.
Multiple times. But I think it's an incredible gift to be able to take that, an actor's theme and a director's vision and put it into and create music from it. It's just it makes you really appreciate how interrelated music is in our lives.
Well, I want to ask you, Sacha, do you consider the music always the plus one character in the scene when you have it?
I think it's the I consider it as the last writer. You have a first writer, which is a screenwriter. Then you have all of this, writing through the directors and producer,
right?
And then you have the last writer, and in fact, it's kind of a same, like a plus one character to a film,
because you have a shot with you and Jason having a dialogue, but then there's that composition in there, and it's like that is. I mean, I'm getting
it totally adds to this.
I am such a fan.
I mean, try and watch a film. There's some films out there that have very little music, but try and watch one without music. It's it feels different. It feels very, very different and very intentional. If a director does do that, but it's part of it.
Right.
You don't even. I don't think people realize it. I'm not saying people don't realize it, but when you're really immersed in a film, you don't really realize
for sure
how valuable and how important and how much the music's actually adding to the film.
Yeah, we always say if you're just immersed in the movie and you're just watching it, then it's done right.
Absolutely.
If there's like bad dialogue out of sync or something, and you go, "Oh, what was that?" It's not right.
You know, I watched a film recently, and I forget the name of it now. It has Rob Lowe in it. It's is it a Netflix original or an Amazon Prime original? And oh my God, I now that I speak to Michael all the time, I can't help but to notice some of the things that he works on. And what do you call the voiceover? What do you call that?
ADR.
ADR. So I saw some horrible ADR.
Right.
Where you can see that the person did not say that.
Yeah,
that's true.
And it's there, and I'm like, oh, that is so bad. I had to rewind it and show it to Mindy. I'm like, my wife Mindy. I'm like, Mindy, look at this, and she doesn't, she didn't notice it, but I'm looking at their lips, and they're not saying that. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, they should have hired Michael on that one. That's for sure.
It would not have been that. I'll tell you that.
Quick story. Sacha and I completely. Unrelated. It was a friend thing. He called me and wanted me to give him information on a spec for you did compose a commercial in the right. And so we were talking, and I said, dude, instead of you trying to do it, just send it to me. I've sat in my studio at home and I did the measurement, and I was like, you're right on the money, man. Send it out. Then either the next day or 2 days later, I reached out to him to say, how did it go delivering that piece of music? And he told me it was 181 versions.
Yeah. For one commercial.
For one 30-second commercial.
Yeah, it was like
you did 181 versions.
Yeah.
181
because they
changes.
have so on a commercial campaign like this, it's like so you have like 1 minute 30. That's a big long length commercial, and then you have 1 minute 20, and then you have 1 minute 10,
variations of
and
that,
then
the master
till like
commercial.
the 5 seconds.
And, I see what you mean. I got you.
And you have like
I got you.
Instagram, like I mean, like all these like
short versions of them.
Social network.
How many again now?
181.
Yeah, between all this, like it's insane. And you know, you have different languages in following the countries, different music going to one country to another. Yeah, it's.
Could
like,
you imagine writing a song and then changing it?
I can't.
181 times.
I can't.
Yeah, it's just insane. Like
now, that's where I don't know how you keep it fresh.
Yeah,
because I'd be like, oh my god, I have to do this again.
Well,
you know, there's things that you realize. That's when you realize that's not for me, because I would go, what? I got to do that 180 times.
right.
You know.
Well, the craziest thing was back 3 years ago. I did a French TV show called Bienvenue chez nous, which is very popular, and it went to Canada actually, in Quebec. And so the job was, because that was more like a job, more than a passion, I have to say. It was...
Felt like a job.
It was 100 episodes of 45 minutes.